Set my timer.
Okay, so good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone, from wherever you are watching this webinar. My name is Dr. Farooq Rathore. I'm a Rising Scholar Steward. I have been associated with the Rising Scholar, previously known as Author Aid, for more than 15 years now. My journey started in 2008. I started as a mentee looking for information and looking for courses online, and that was in 2008. And I'm basically from Pakistan. This journey continued. I did some courses. I started contributing in form of blogs, videos, and becoming a facilitator. And over the year, I actually became one of the Rising Scholar Steward and the main core team. So this has been a fantastic journey so far, and these kind of webinar and my participation as facilitator is just me giving back to the community that has helped me a lot in order to learn, in order to grow, and to become what I am today. So with this background, today what we are going to talk about is a brief introduction to the artificial intelligence tool in research and writing. Because you are currently enrolled in a research and writing program, and ever since this chat GPT was launched a couple of years ago, everyone now talks about artificial intelligence integration, how to use these tools, what tools we should be using, and what is the ethical and the right way to use these tools and integrate them in our workflow. Obviously, it's a 60-minute session, which means the time is limited. So what I'm going to do is, first, I'm going to show some slides, do a sort of a didactic lecture, and then I will have 15 minutes of focused Q&A session as per your need. So as I just told you, I'm a medical doctor from Pakistan. I'm a tenured professor currently working in Quetta Institute of Medical Sciences. I'm a Rising Scholar Steward, and with my background in rehabilitation, I'm honored to represent my country, Pakistan, in a couple of international organizations like Asia Oceania Society of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, and also International Society of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation. I'm an author. I've published more than 260 papers in national and international biomedical journals. And currently, I'm also working as one of the co-editor-in-chiefs of our official journal of ISPRM. So the learning agreement today is, I'm sure my colleagues have already discussed that, but just a reminder, I would request all of you to please keep your mics muted. Please listen well and participate actively. And once I say participate actively, it means whenever I'm going to ask a question, and there are more than 64 or 60 of you, so please use the chat box to answer that question. It will maintain the flow of this webinar, and it will also let me know that you guys are interested and you're still with me, and I'm going to ask certain questions. And please, I know that we all come from different backgrounds, from different subjects, from different parts of the world. So our learning journey is not the same. So as people say, we are in all this together. No, we are not all in this together. We come from different backgrounds, which means some of you might have questions that you might feel very afraid to ask. I would encourage and request you to please ask questions. And in the end, I would request you to share your feedback as well. And my colleagues are going to share the recording as well, which is be available in 24 hours along with the PDF of the slides. So the agenda that I have outlined for this webinar is that we are going to start with the current use of artificial intelligence in our personal and professional lives. Then I'm going to focus mostly on AI tools used in research and writing process. Then obviously we are going to discuss the ethical concern, the drawbacks, the limitation of using these AI tools in research and writing. Then I'm going to demonstrate, or what I would say, recommend some of the tools that I have actually used myself and I found them very useful, and maybe you will find them useful too. And then I'm going to summarize whatever we have learned. And then we are going to have a little bit of recap of the abstract writing assignment, which is due in few days. So I will actually start my webinar with telling you the key messages. This whole webinar actually revolves around two key messages: that you should use artificial intelligence tools, but as a springboard. So what does this mean? So as most of you will be very familiar with the concept of a springboard is a mechanical device, which means that you put some pressure, a force, and it actually gives you a boost, right? Which means that the first action should come from the person, him or herself. The springboard cannot help you if you don't have any energy or any initiative at all. This means that this AI tool can significantly enhance your research output if you start with the first step, number one. But while you are doing that, please avoid over reliance on these artificial intelligence tools. In the initial 1 to 2 years, ever since this chat GPT was launched, there was a lot of hype everywhere that this is going to change the world, the way we work, the way we do research and writing. And it has actually changed that. But a very major concern by the educators, senior researchers, and teachers is that over reliance on AI tools, and especially by young students or those who are just starting off in their career, can actually lead to cognitive decline. So, at one end, I would strongly encourage you to use AI tool and ethically, transparently integrate them in your workflow in research and writing. At the same time, I would also like to caution you, please do not over rely on these tools. And we are going to discuss some smart ethical strategies that would hopefully help you achieve these two key messages. Before I start, a couple of disclaimers. You need to understand whatever I'm going to say, I am representing only myself. I'm not representing INASC or Rising Scholar or any other organization. These are my own personal views and experience that are shaped by my interaction with different kind of AI tool in the last 3 years. It's impossible for me to cover all aspect or all tools in a 45-minute session. So I'm going to give you a breadth of topics, but I won't be possible for me to go into the depth of each one of them. Obviously, I'm going to share a lot of tools, but you need to understand that sharing a tool is not an endorsement from my side. It's just an educational exercise that I'm going to do with you. There are certain tools that I used, there are certain tools that I experiment with, and I thought they were really cool and they were really good. So I'm going to share them with you, but that's not an endorsement. You know of some other tool, please go out and explore that as well. And as I just told you, I would definitely encourage you to ask questions. But since all of you come from different backgrounds, different academic standings, different countries and regions of the world, so your questions might vary. And the possibility I might not be able to answer every question that you have. Still, I would encourage you to at least ask the question, and probably I can direct you in the right direction. So before starting off with the AI use in research and writing, I'll take a second and I'll see the chat. Is there something? Okay, yeah, okay. So whenever we talk of AI tools or artificial intelligence integration, many people, especially those of us who are based in the global south or what we call the developing world or low middle income countries, sometimes we think that this AI is something very futuristic. It is something that is primarily concerned with the people or colleagues based in the global north, maybe Northern Americas or Europe or advanced countries. You need to understand that artificial intelligence is actually already integrated as a part of your daily life. And this was integrated for the last 2 decades. Just because you and me never realized this does not mean it was never there. It was always there, seeing us, monitoring us, and collecting data from our day-to-day activities. I'll give you a couple of quick examples. Whenever you use a Google search engine or any search engine for that, you always have a tailor-made response based on your previous searches. It is all based on AI algorithms. Whenever you go out and you go for Google Maps, millions of vehicles are moving around the world at one time. And all those millions of vehicles are getting real-time updates on their route and where to go and where not to go. Who's doing that? All AI algorithm, machine learning. Simple thing like Gmail. If you activate the Google Labs, now this AI is going to help you summarize your email, extract key insights from your email, and even create a response on your behalf. All AI tools. Social media. Each one of you has a different scrolling habit, and therefore the recommendation varies from person to person, even if they are using the same mobile or even if they're working in the same place. And same goes for facial recognition softwares. There are like more than 8 billion people in this world. Why your smartphone only opens up and gives access when it sees your face? Who's controlling that? All AI algorithms. And same goes for online shopping like Daraz, Alibaba, Amazon. So you need to understand that artificial intelligence was actually a very deeply ingrained in our personal lives for more than 2 decades. But it was actually in November 2022 when this ChatGPT free public version was launched, and it actually took the world by storm. 100 million new users within 30 days. This was the highest uptake of any technology in the human history. More than electricity, radio, cars, Netflix, Twitter, Facebook, you name anything. Nothing beats ChatGPT public launch in November 2022. It was actually a very paradigm shift in how we used to see things. And that was probably a reason that soon ChatGPT was actually featured on the cover of Time magazine. Before we start with the actual subject of AI tool used in research and writing, I would like to ask you just quickly, and this is my first question to my participant. What are the different steps, main steps in writing a research article or a research manuscript? Where do you start? Please, chat box. First step. So whenever you, okay, yeah, problem recognition, Mahir, good. Anything else? There are like 72 people. I need a lot of answers. Curiosity. Good, Abib. Research gap. You identify the research gap. Excellent. Literature review. Excellent. Literature survey. But again, before literature survey, you think of an idea and then you do a literature survey or literature review, right? Observation, literature search. Yeah, let's move forward. What do you do after literature review or literature search? What do you do? Yes, you select the area in which you're going to do research. What's the next step? What is the next step? Research question, excellent. You have to have a very strong, good research question. And what's the next step in writing a research article? Hypothesis, research question, objective, find gap. Yes, you. What about methodology? What are the important steps that you do in methodology in order to do a research question? You research objective, identify the gap, then you obviously create research. Yes, research design, very, very important. Maybe research questionnaire. And if it is a human subject research, you might have to get an ethic review committee approval or institutional review board approval as well. And then you go out and then you do data collection, you do data analysis, you have to write, you have to submit it to a journal, then you have to answer the peer review comment. So many things are involved in writing a research article. And if you want me to summarize that, you can say we usually start with a research idea and research question. We do a literature search, we read article, we extract data and insight from those articles in order to identify the research gap. And this literature search also helps us to create and write our discussion section later on, right? Then obviously you have to select or you have to create your own data collection tools, or you have to collect or create data questionnaires. Then obviously in some cases you have to finally formally submit either a protocol, a proposal, or a synopsis, depending on the policy of your institute, right? Then data collection, data analysis, the manuscript writing part, pretty challenging for people who do not have English as their first language, because the global language of science is English. You like it or not, nobody cares. It is English, which means you have to write English which is as good as that can compete with other people's English in the global literature. And for that, you have to have appropriate language, grammar, syntax, how to do referencing, citation, formatting, journal selection. The good thing is that now AI tools can actually help you in each of these steps of manuscript writing. And this is what we are going to discuss today. So now I'm going to first of all discuss with you some very specific examples where AI tool can be ethically and transparently integrated in research and writing in all these steps. And then we are going to discuss and I'm going to show you some specific tools from some specific tasks. So number one, and this is my favorite, by the way, that is brainstorming research ideas or brainstorming research question. Now you might want to ask me, so why this is your favorite and why do you think this is one of the most unique uses of AI tool in research and writing? I'll give you my perspective. You need to understand that these AI tools, and especially the large language models, let's say like ChatGPT, Claude by Anthropic, and Gemini by Google and other, right? They have been trained on trillions, not billions, trillions of token of information from almost every subject known to mankind, right? There's no human being in the world that can actually compete with any of these LLM as far as access to information is concerned. We have a very limited time span of 60 to 80, 90, 100 years, and we can't spend that time in learning about 100 subjects. You can maximum be master of one, two, or three subjects in the lifetime, right? But these LLM have been trained on trillions of tokens of information, pieces of information, education, everything from different subjects known to mankind. And not only these LLMs and these AI tools can rapidly retrieve that information, they can make connection between different specialties and different subjects the way you and me cannot. So I cannot talk about, let's say, computer science or agriculture science, but these LLM can actually talk and create unique question at the intersectionality of, let's say, climate change and healthcare, climate change and machine learning, maybe climate change and impact on agriculture, different subject. So I would recommend that if you ask me what is one of the most unique uses of AI tool, I would say use them to create these kind of intriguing, interesting, and different kind of interdisciplinary research question, because this is something that a human being cannot replicate. Then instead of simply asking these tools to create your assignment or essay or presentation or text, why don't you use them smartly to create outlines, right? So you create a strong foundation or outline using these AI tools, and then what I call you fill in the gaps with your own creativity, with your own mindset, with your own experience and whatever knowledge you have. It's going to be a really good collaboration between an AI tool and a human mind. Then obviously there are many tools available out there which can help you in doing literature search, and they can not only do literature search, they can actually summarize it as well and give you summaries. And then there's a concept of literature mapping. So literature search is that you go online, you go maybe on Medline or some other database, and you put in some Boolean operators and keywords. But literature mapping is actually going a little bit deeper, that how closely that particular article is connected to other articles that have been published before or after that article. This is known as literature mapping. It takes a little bit of learning curve in order to understand what literature mapping is, but the use of AI tools, some of which I'm going to show you, have made the process of literature mapping pretty easy. Summarizing and speed reading. Many of us who are working in research and writing in academia, we have to read a lot of material, and everyone is short of time. And there's so much data and material available out there, sometimes it becomes impossible to read on a daily basis. So how do you keep pace with these rapidly changing technological transformation? You might want to use different AI tools, which can smartly summarize the article for you. And then based on the summary, you might want to prioritize which article I'm going to read later on, right? I'm simply not saying that you simply use these tools simply to summarize and then start believing those summaries blindly. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying it helps you prioritize what to read, what not to read, and what to read later on, right? So it has been like half an hour. Before I move further, I just want a yes or no in the chat box. Are you guys with me? And are you getting what I'm saying? Yes or no? Excellent. Thank you very much. Couple of enthusiastic yes, which means okay, I should go on. So thank you very much for your feedback. Important to know that my colleagues are with me, my participants. Yes, you can use AI tool to generate certain amount of text as well. But again, a word of caution for everyone. You have to be very, very clear about the instruction that have been provided for AI use by your target journal or by your institute or by your university. Because, for example, I know for sure many universities and even some journals, they would clearly mention we would allow up to 20% of AI generated content, which means if 80% is all okay and all clear, and you are using only 20% of content, they're going to allow that. But if the article or the thesis has, let's say, 60% of AI generated content, obviously it is unethical. This means you haven't used your mind at all. You have simply copy and pasted the AI output into that thesis or into that article. So that is something not allowed. Language and grammar check is probably one of the most appropriate uses of these large language models of AI tools. Why? Usually, when non-English speaking people like you and me, they write an article, the article is really good, the science is very strong, the data analysis is actually very appropriate, and the discussion looks right, right? But you have to compete in a global audience where your English language, grammar, syntax has to be of that high quality. And usually the language editing services nowadays, they would actually charge you somewhere between 150 up to 500 US dollar for a single article. I'll be very honest with you, very honest with you. Even as a tenured professor working in Pakistan, I absolutely not in favor, or I don't have any resource to spend 500 US dollar on language editing of my single manuscript. So what should I do? Should I stop competing? No. These large language model can act as very powerful English language editors, and not only English language. They can act as French language editor, they can act as Spanish language editor, they can act as Mandarin language editor, Arabic, just name that language. They have been trained on trillions of tokens of information. They know what is the flow of a good scientific article, how to write and how not to write. So language grammar check is an excellent use of AI tools. Obviously, then you can use them to improve your bibliography and references and plagiarism check as well. So these are some specific examples in which you can use AI tools after declaration and clearly after documenting them, and then mentioning that in your maybe methodology or maybe in your disclosures. Now, moving on, before we start with the actual, I start showing you the actual tools, some of the recommended tools that I have used myself. We need to take a pause here and discuss a couple of drawbacks, limitations, and concern with the use of AI tools. So again, my question to my participant, in your opinion, what are the limitations, drawbacks, and concern regarding the use of AI tools? Any limitation, any concern, any drawback that you see? Let's discuss, and then I'll move forward. Hallucination, Abhi, excellent, excellent. So can you tell our colleague what is hallucination? So Abhi says hallucination, very good. Poor critical thinking, excellent, excellent. Robert, poor bias, lack of reality, excellent, yes. Anything else? To generate what is not to exist, hallucination. Data fabrication, very true, very true. Falsification, may give inappropriate responses, faking information, plagiarism risk, excellent, without any backup. So many good ideas. Thank you very much, everyone. Which means you people actually are a critical thinker, and you are not only using AI tool, but you know the background and the drawbacks of using these AI tool uncritically. So please keep this thinking hat on whenever you are trying to interact with an AI tool, and hopefully you are not going to end in any embarrassment. And again, quickly, I'll give you my perspective. So the first is of responsibility and accountability, because whenever we publish something, or we write a manuscript, or we submit a thesis or a dissertation to our university, someone has to sign it off. Someone has to take responsibility. And usually the responsibility lies with the corresponding author, the main author, or the principal investigator. So there was a concern, or maybe the question in the initial days of ChatGPT launch in November 2022, that can AI tools be mentioned as a co-author? And a couple of articles actually mentioned them as co-author, but now it is very, very clear. The accountability and responsibility lies with the human being. It is a human attribute. It is not an attribute that you can give to an LLM. So humans, or the person who is using AI tool, giving the prompt and then using that output, is the one who is going to be responsible and accountable for the output. So please be very clear about that. No one is going to listen to you if you say, oh, I never knew how to ethically use AI tool. I never checked that this AI tool was fabricating references. I did not actually check that the summary this AI tool created was not appropriate or not accurate. No, no one is going to listen to this excuse. The responsibility and accountability lies with the person, a human person, that actually uses AI tool and then uses the output of the AI tool for any purpose that he or she likes. Maybe research, data analysis, creating pictures, dissertation, thesis, or brainstorming research ideas. The second concern is that of over reliance leads to on AI leads to reduced creativity. And this is something that has actually been proven in many studies in the last 2 years. So for many people who are into research and writing manuscript and publishing, they feel the end justifies the mean. And I would tell you the end does not justify the mean. Why? If your end is, I need an article, I need a thesis, many of you must be very well aware, and some of you actually might have experienced this phenomena as well, which is now pretty common around the globe, in which people actually pay unethically and they get their name in a dissertation or article or a manuscript. They simply pay because they are concerned with the end. You want an article? I'll get you an article. Please do not ask me about the means. No, we are going to ask you about the means. Because as a teacher, I'm concerned, are you getting those foundational knowledge or not? I'm not only concerned about your output, your research output. I'm also concerned about the pathway that you have taken in order to reach that final destination. And as Anderson said, focus on the journey, not the destination. Joy is found in not in finishing an activity, but in doing it. I'll pause here for a moment and again I'll ask a question to my participant. Those of you who have done any research at all, small or big, please go back in time and think of the day one when you started doing research. Just because you did research ethically, you read a lot, you self-taught, or you were taught about research methodology, you were taught about data analysis, the writing part, those sleepless nights, do you think that going through that process of research and writing has made you a better person as a person or professional? Just because you did not go for the end and you went for the whole journey? My question. Yes. So this process actually teaches you a lot, right? So if you go for the shortcut, you're not going to learn. So please do not over rely on these tools. Only use them as co-pilots. And the most important thing to understand is that the process of writing is probably the pinnacle of human civilization. And I feel this is something that made us the dominant species on planet Earth, with millions of species who can actually compete with us, who are actually better than us. No human being without support can fly in the air. And we know of the migratory birds which would actually migrate from Russia and they would fly thousands of miles to Kinjar Lake, Pakistan. Thousands of miles. No human being can actually compete with an elephant in a hand-to-hand duel, right? No human being can hold their breath maybe for more than 5 to 8 minutes in Pacific Ocean. And we know that there are creatures living in Pacific Ocean at a depth of more than 10 kilometers. So you need to understand what made us a dominant species on planet Earth was writing. That is the ultimate expression of human creativity, ultimate expression of human knowledge. And what is writing? Writing is not something very simple. Writing starts with reading. It's a cognitive process. You first of all know what do these words mean? What are these alphabet? What voice do I will come out of my mouth when I will read this thing? And reading is not enough. You have to critically analyze the reading. Is it making sense? What is the meaning of these words? Do I need to go to someone senior, someone more knowledgeable in order to understand the meaning of these words? And once you are clear about that, only then it all culminates in writing, the ultimate pinnacle of human civilization and creativity. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, there are tools available for all of these three things: reading, analysis, writing. And if you simply put all the burden of AI tool and you do not do anything yourself, I'm sorry, you are going to end up in cognitive loss. And these are the opinions that are now coming up around the globe. And since I'm very active on LinkedIn, so I took it from LinkedIn from Talur. He says, especially by mentioning the Perplexity, which is a search engine, they don't need you to do much work yourself. With such tools at our disposal, why would anyone want to work hard and do research themselves when the answer is a mere prompt away? This is the magic of AI. You simply put a prompt and you get a whole output. So you simply skip the process. You simply go to the end without learning anything, without enjoying the journey. And the pilots themselves are clueless about the subject and seem to have forgotten or never learned how to do research without using such tools. I'm not against using these tools. I would encourage you to ethically, transparently use these tools. But please understand, you have to develop those foundational knowledge skills, the bricks, the foundation on which you are going to actually create your whole building of research. If you don't have a basic idea of research and you simply know how to prompt and create an output, that's not going to be helpful in the long run. And the dark side of AI, tracking the decline of human cognitive skills. They are not calculators. These are not spreadsheets, because calculator and spreadsheets were very specific things. They did not do anything extra what was told. But this is generative AI. It can generate music. It can generate scripts. it can generate images, it can generate videos. It's beyond what we actually thought a couple of years ago. And again, I would say some groups have impressed me with their creativity and originality. Others seem to have embraced ChatGPT as a crutch, blindly accepting whatever it generates with very little due diligence. Please don't do that. And the black box nature of AI tool. How does this AI tool reach this conclusion? You and me are not very sure. Even though computer scientists working with these are not very sure. Why one AI tool gives you one answer at one time and another answer at another time? What's happening? Black box nature. People are not very clear, right? And then bias and discrimination. Sometimes these AI tools actually amplify the biases that are already present in the society and in the literature. So unless you are very clear what is right, what is wrong, unless you are very sure how discrimination works against certain marginal groups, you are simply going to accept the output of AI tool as a final word, and that's going to create a lot of problem both for you and for the people who are evaluating the work. Now coming to some specific AI tools, and again, these are all recommendations. You can use them or you can go beyond them. It's totally up to you. For brainstorming ideas, research gaps, and creating titles, I recommend that you start with ChatGPT. Why? ChatGPT is one of the largest LLM out there, one of the most popular, and one of the strongest. But apart from that, you can always go for Claude by Anthropic or maybe Gemini by Google or even Microsoft Copilot. And then there's a specific tool known as ResearchGate. It is a subscribed tool that actually helps you create and brainstorm research ideas. So again, I'm not going to give you a demonstration, but you need to understand that for each task, the amount, the number, and the type of prompt that you will create is going to be different. So if you are going to do a brainstorming on a topic related to medical science, it's going to be different from a topic related to agriculture science, which is definitely going to be different from a topic related to sociology. So keeping you in mind all these constraints and then giving it a detailed prompt and then iterating it, going into a conversation mode, you are going to ultimately end up hopefully with a couple of really good research questions. So maybe ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or ResearchGate. Again, for a literature search, there's a huge long list of tools available. And obviously, please understand that it's impossible for each one of us to be master of all tools. And you have to actually avoid this information overload. I would strongly recommend that you focus only on the tools that address your needs, which again will be different for everyone in a different field. And there's a long list. I'm not going to go in detail, but just to give you an idea, Semantic Scholar is one of the first AI-powered literature search engine. It was actually launched much before ChatGPT. It was launched in 2019 by Allen Institute. The best thing about Semantic Scholar is that it is free of cost, right? Then you have different other tools. The important thing to understand is that all of these tools are made by the corporate sector, which means that honestly they are just after their what I call profits, and that's why you would notice that each of these tools, whether it is a writing tool or a literature search tool, they will offer one tool will offer you a functionality that is not available in another tool because they want to sell, and that's totally okay because you don't need to know about 20 tools and you don't need to be master of 20 tools. So for example, Consensus, again, a good tool, and almost all of the tools that I am mentioning, they have some free functionality as well, or they offer you 3 to 5 pro searches each day as well. Evidence hunt is very, very important and useful, especially for those working in healthcare sciences. So you might want to explore this as well. Cite is sort of a multifunctional tool. It not only provides you with a literature search, it actually gives you an idea. It does literature mapping for you. It actually recommends citations for the article you're working on. It also helps you create an idea that whether this article is important or not, because it would give you a whole list that how many times this article has been cited by other people, and how much it has been cited positively and how much it has been cited negatively. Very useful tool, Cite. Again, Undermined, I like Undermined because Undermined goes for sort of a conversational mode. So you might want to say, I need literature search on stroke, but that's very vague. that is not very clear, that is not very targeted. So undermine would actually ask you, okay, are you looking for literature review in adults or children? It's very important consideration. You might say adults. Then it would ask you men or women or both gender. You might say both gender. Then it would keep you asking the question till the time your literature review or literature search strategy is very clear. So that's why I really love and like undermine. Then coming to the literature mapping, again, there are so many tools available out there. The best thing about Research Rabbit is that it is free of cost. The other tools, they allow you some functionality, but they are paid versions. So Research Rabbit is the one that is currently free of cost. It has a bit of a learning curve, the literature mapping part, but I think it's very useful and you must all be very much familiar with how literature mapping acts. Again, this is lit maps or literature maps, and this is again site, which is a paid thing, but again, it would allow you to create 1 to 2 literature maps in the free version as well. Same goes for connected paper, but all of these are paid tools. The only free tool in literature mapping is Research Rabbit. Highly recommended. Very good. Many tools available out there for data analysis, and we all know that data analysis could be qualitative data analysis and quantitative data analysis, which is the most common form usually in, at least in biomedical sciences and other sciences. So for that you can use Julius, Data Squirrel, or Group T. Again, the same thing, they all offer you some functionality in the free version or what we call the freemium version. But if you want to explore the whole power of these tools, you have to go for a paid version. Yes, this also is a learning curve, and many people, especially from biomedical sciences, they ask me, should we use AI tool for our data analysis or not? And my answer is very simple. Don't go with the flow and don't get impressed with the hype. Usually in medical sciences, we use this SPSS or R and stuff like that. If your data set is not very complex and it can easily be evaluated by maybe R or maybe by this SPSS, honestly, on a personal note, I don't see any value of just going for an AI tool just because it's a fancy tool and everyone is using that. Then a very important thing I just told you, a lot of literature is being published every day, hundreds of articles. We cannot keep a track of those articles. We cannot read those articles. So there are really good tools out there like Humata, Anara, and ChatPDF, which would actually help you summarize. Now you need to understand you can actually summarize all this by even using these LLMs, Chat GPT, or maybe Claude or Anthropic and Claude and Gemini Copilot. But the problem is that they hallucinate a lot and you're not very sure from where this piece of information has been obtained. So Humata and other these other data extraction or literature summarizing apps, not only they summarize, they extract the insights, but they actually give you the actual reference of the text from which they have obtained the information, which means the chances of hallucination and wrong information, it goes down and you are very clear and you can verify the information that this AI tool is providing you. So Humata, Anara, and ChatPDF. Again, for writing, there are many tools available out there, but if you ask me if you are really into writing, you should be using a tool that is specific to writing, because GPT is a general is a general tool, right, for everything under the sun. It is not specific for writing, but Jenny and Lexpage, they are very specific to writing because they give you templates, they give you ideas, and they also provide you with counter ideas. And as these tools evolve, they also have the capability to do a literature search right inside your writing part, and then you can put in your references as well. And on a personal note, I like Lexpage more than anyone else. Then there are certain multifunctional tools that actually provide you with a lot of things in a single tool. They include the site, typeset.io, SciSpace, then ResearchPal and PaperPal. And many of you are must be familiar with this SciSpace because they are very active in doing webinars and they keep on launching new things every month. And then you have ResearchPal. Again, as you can see, it can help you in writing, literature review, referencing, literature search of the paper, and extracting paper insight. So these are multifunctional tools. Once you are done with your article, obviously you might want to submit it to somewhere, right? And for that, you have many online tools for selecting the best journal for your article. But the two most useful that I have found and I use very commonly is one is a manuscript matcher, and the important thing is it is by Cleverate. So Collaborate is the same organization that provides impact factor to journals. So it's a very authentic website, and it's also the same organization that manages and runs Web of Science. So once you and this tool is, by the way, free of cost. You can access this manuscript matcher free of cost. All you need to do is you have to create a free account, and that's pretty easy. It takes less than like 3 minutes, right? And then you can put in your either title or your abstract, and it is going to mix and match the most appropriate journals for your search. But my favorite is Jane, journal, author, name estimator. You can search by titles, you can search by authors, or you can search by keywords. A lot of functionality and flexibility that this platform offers, Jane. And before we end my talk or webinar, I will encourage you to look beyond ChatGPT. A research 1 year ago showed that ChatGPT has around 52% of the AI world traffic when it comes to AI queries and AI tool use. I know that's fine. Fantastic. ChatGPT is very good and like very strong, powerful. But if you want variety, and if you want to go beyond the norm, you have to explore other options, and there are like a million options available out there. I can't recommend one, but Gemini by Google is pretty strong because it has the backing of Google Alphabet. Microsoft Copilot, again, pretty cool. Claude by Anthropic is very well known for good writing. So if you are into writing and you want to improve your writing styles, again, can't go in detail, but Claude allows you to upload your previous writing samples, and then based on that, it analyzes those samples and creates a writing style for you. If you like that style, follow that style. If you want to improve, just change it. So very good, Claude. Mistral is a French company, but again, a pretty useful and high quality tool. We have Grok, and then you have u.com. Some people are confused, which tool should I use? So I always tell them that please use po.com, po.com, or u.com, you.com. These are AI platforms, and for the same $20 per month, you get access to almost every large language model. Either you can explore those models, and whatever model you feel fits best with your needs, then you get the subscription of that model. Or you might want to simply continue with using u.com or po.com. And if you want to explore other alternatives, there is a website known as there is an AI for that.com. There is an AI for that.com, and it gives you alternative to every tool that is available out there. A pretty good website. I really like it. So the summary is there is no one perfect tool. You have to experiment and you have to learn on your own. Why? Because your needs are different, your subjects are different, your academic standing is different. So there's no just one tool that is going to fulfill all your needs. And very importantly, do not blindly rely on AI generated content, because you are going to be held responsible for whatever good or bad that AI tool produces. And always document the use of AI tool and be very transparent and ethical about the use of AI tool, whether in research, writing, brainstorming, data analysis, language, grammar, syntax check, right? And it's a competitive world out there. You have to be proactive and learn the use of AI tool. And this is a skill, and skill cannot just improve by lecturing. Skills only improve by doing the things yourself. So please go back, explore these tools, and start experimenting. The take home message is there's a lot of hype out there. The tech bro, the Silicon Valley has to like sell something in order to make their next 100 billion. This is how the world works, unfortunately. You like it or you don't like it. And when we were students, we did not have any access to information, no internet, no stuff like that. You guys are being exposed to information overload. You have to take a pause. You have to step back, and you have to decide what aligns with your goals, and then you focus on those two or three tools instead of getting lost in information overload. And for those who say, is AI going to replace me? If you are a good professional, if you know how to work, survive, thrive, and communicate in this world, I don't think you're going to get replaced. But this is for sure that AI won't replace humans, but humans with AI skills will likely replace humans without them. So please learn these skills. So there are a couple of things that you need to understand, that upcoming deadline and events. So you have abstract deadline coming on 24th of November, 11 p.m., which means you have just 3 days left. So those of you who have not submitted this assignment, please do that on the weekend. And then you have to actually peer mark this assignment. And for that, the deadline is 1 December. Please remember, Rising Scholar or previously authored is a peer community. We respect each other, we support each other, and we help each other learn and grow. So whenever you submit a assignment, it is mandatory that you have to do peer review, a review of 3 assignments. This is how we learn and grow as a team. And then I'm going to do a webinar a webinar or a tea time hosted by Rising Scholar on 29th of November. That is on Saturday. So please, I invite you all to attend that webinar as well. It's on the dark side of AI tools, of how does AI affects us, and we're going to discuss many things, hopefully. The next live collaborative session, the next live session by my colleague Dr. Buna from Nepal will be on writing collaborative manuscript. It would be on 7 December at 2 p.m. And the course closes on 9th of December. So I really hope that all of you are going to follow the deadlines before that. So this is your assignment, that you have to write an abstract. Deadline, again, I repeat, is 24th of November. All this information is actually available in your portal on the learning management system. But just to summarize, your abstract should be a single paragraph without any heading and should be between 150 and 300 word long. And please use the template that is already provided to you, please. And you have to write a title, and please stick to the word count limitation that have been clearly mentioned, 5 to 20 word long. And then obviously you have to mark 3 of your peer assignments by it's not 1st of November, it's 1st of December. So thank you very much. This is my email and this is my LinkedIn. Feel free to send me any message or email me and connect me on my LinkedIn, where I usually share my experience in research and writing, being from a developing country. I thank you all for your active participation. 97 is a pretty good number. I thank my colleagues from Nepal who are running this course, Laura, Macy, Tamitha from INASP. So thank you very much. Now I'm open for answer and question. Thank you very much.
So, Dr. Farooq, there are some few questions in the chat box. We have responded so far, and two questions for you. First, from Naligo, after a grammar check, is text flagged as AI generated?
Okay, so a couple of things that you can manage that. First of all, if you again simply use these AI tools, and whatever language grammar check you have done, you simply copy and paste that in your final manuscript. Obviously, it's going to be flagged as AI generated text. So just because you are using an AI tool does not mean you are not going to do another critical check on the output. So if you do a critical check on the output, hopefully it's not going to create any problems for you, number one. Number two, whatever tool you use, always try to keep a record, which means, for example, you are using, your team wrote manuscript A. It is the final draft. And now you're going to convert that manuscript A into manuscript B using AI tool. I would recommend 2 things. Once you use AI tool to improve or increase the quality of that language grammar syntax, you should use or create a third file with track changes. Now those track changes would clearly show the reviewer or the editor or your supervisor or teacher that this was the first totally human version and this is the second AI enhanced version. And once they see that you have done the major part yourself and you have only used AI tool in order to improve the language grammar syntax, I am hopeful that any sensible person is not going to create any red flag. Number two. And number three is the challenge with this AI tool, the AI plagiarism checkers. There has been a backlash against these AI plagiarism checkers, but unfortunately, that is something which is a policy matter. I can't comment on that. Some universities use that, some teachers use that. But the problem is that many people are saying that these AI plagiarism or AI similarity checkers, they sort of discriminate against non-native English speakers. This is a debate going on. And again, as I said, this is our ecosystem. We are part of that. I'm going to discuss that in the next webinar on AI dark side. This is one of the dark sides of AI. So unless you and me are not very proactive and we don't participate in this conversation, it's not going to work. So I hope it answers the question. Any other question, please?
Yeah, so there is another question on the options of ChatGPT. How about DeepSeek?
Again, I said all of these are basically LLMs, right? And I'm not going to go into that kind of debate, China versus USA, because I work in Pakistan. I'm an academician and I have used both of them, both DeepSeek and both ChatGPT. And since this is how the world works, whatever you do, they train on your data, right? So it all depends on your comfort level and what questions are you asking. And there's no one perfect tool. Neither DeepSeek is perfect nor ChatGPT is perfect. But I have seen that both of them are very powerful. And again, each one of them will offer you certain capabilities that the other tool is not going to offer you because there's a corporate sector and they want to sell their tools. So again, there's no need of comparison between ChatGPT and DeepSeek, which many so-called tech influencers on LinkedIn and Facebook usually do. But as a person, I would recommend please go online, use both of these tools yourself, and then make your decision. So there's no need of comparison between different tools because each of these tools is good in some aspect and maybe not good in other aspect. Okay,
So there
Mahir
is
has
a
a question. Yeah, so sorry, please go on, go on.
no, I was trying to say there is no more question. I mean, like follow-up
No,
question from
there's
Mahir
one.
again. Maybe if they can just unmute and ask, raise their
There,
hands first,
yeah,
and then
yes, yes,
unmute
they
and
can do
ask.
that. There's one very important question from Mahir. It is so
Yes.
sad that most AI tools have global not bias. I'm curious if there's a research-based AI tool ever developed in a global South country for the global South. Very, very important question. Probably this should be a lesson to all of us. Again, I told you I'm from Pakistan, a lower income country. We are not in the top 10 in the world for education and stuff like that, right? And this is something that we people from the global south need to understand. If we are always in the consumer mode, that the people and our colleagues from global north are going to create a technology, the silicon bros are going to create a technology, I'm going to use that technology for free, I'm going to give them my data. This is again going to result in digital colonialism. They are going to get all the raw data from you, process that data, improve their model, and again change the world. But having said that, in my opinion and what I have seen, India has done a lot of great work in AI tool. SciSpace, PayPal, ResearchPal. All of these are from either from people based in India or our Indian colleagues who are now based in maybe Europe or Northern America. And the second example is that of DeepSeek and QN, which is from China. So yes, we I mean, I'm not sure if I should be using the word we, because global south has probably 100 countries and only right now China or maybe this India and maybe South Korea are doing something. But yes, some people are trying to do something, but most of the impetus and most of the work is right now being done in the global north. So Barsha has a question, please.
Yes, so Farooq, I have noted down one question for you to answer from
Please.
the chat box. It was from Easy, and the question was, how does one acknowledge the use of AI tools ethically?
Very good. So first of all, please read the instruction to author of the journal where you're about to submit, because many journals and publishers like Elsevier, Taylor and Francis, Wiley InterScience, Walter Kluwer, they all have very clear AI use policies, which means they clearly tell you how to acknowledge AI use. Some of them will ask you to acknowledge that directly in the methodology section. For example, we used tool A on this date in order to do literature search. We use tool XYZ on this date, version this, in order to create research question. Or some of them would ask you to write a separate AI disclosure. Or some of them would actually ask you to please mention that in the declaration. So simply go out there and see what is the policy of the journal where you want to submit. And in some universities, again, they have their templates and you have to follow that template. So now really good high quality information and what I called guidance about AI use tool declaration is available. You have to read the instruction to author or maybe the publisher policy or the university policy, and it will be very, very clear. Okay, any other question, please? Thank you. You can, I'll stay here for 5 more minutes because I was 10 minutes late. Thank you very much for appreciation. So I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have at this stage. Any question? As I told you, I might not be able to answer everyone, but again, I would like to listen to your question at least. Yeah, please, someone has their hands up. Please unmute yourself and please ask the question. Thank you.
Yeah, the question, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your insightful presentation. Very, very insightful. Thank you. My other question is that nowadays, usually we are encouraged to put whatever writing into Grammarly to just check, especially if we're not native English speakers. But in my experience, even though the writing is mine and I put it in Grammarly, it gives me suggestions and I accept the suggestions, after which it flags it as AI generated. I don't know if you've ever experienced something similar and what we can do, because it's my writing, it's not AI. I just use Grammarly to check the language and to ensure it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for a very important question that has been a concern for many non-native English speakers, including my own self. So the first thing that we need to understand that we should not target for perfection. We are human beings. In our daily conversations, in our daily writing, we all know that we are not perfect. So there's absolutely no need of creating a perfect manuscript that has absolutely, has the perfect English language grammar syntax. That actually sounds more robotic and AI. That's the first thing. Secondly, yes, you can scan your manuscript or ask for suggestion to any AI tool, not only Grammarly, any AI tool to improve language grammar syntax. But at the end of the day, you are the one who is going to accept or reject those suggestions. And sometimes they do suggest you something that you feel is going to make your sentence very polished. But again, once you are reading that sentence, you feel probably it was better in that non-polished form instead of this hyper-polished form. So again, following these two things, that number one, do not aim for perfection. We all make mistakes and human beings want to read a text by a human being. And number two, do not accept every suggestion of Grammarly or any other tool, because you have to rely on your own thinking as well. And we all know that each journal usually has a very peculiar writing style. So agriculture science will have a different writing style, medical science will have a different writing style, computer will have a different writing style. And once you read certain article in that particular journal, you would notice that style. So you should actually mimic or write in that style instead of only focusing on the AI suggestions. So I think you're safe. Yes, I agree. Don't accept all suggestions. Yes. Thank you. Any other question? We still have like 2 minutes and I will stay for next 2 minutes.
Dr. Farooq, there is one question from Becky Lee in the chat box. Would you
Please.
like to look at it?
Please. Can you please read it aloud for me?
Yeah, it's the question was on abstract writing assignment. If currently we are not doing project, how do we proceed?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Even if you're not doing a research project, I'm assuming that you have something in mind. So simply write, make an abstract, because please remember, abstract are of two types. And nowadays, you don't only create an abstract on a research that you have done. People actually publish protocols as well, right? So you might have some idea how I am going to do the research XYZ. So even if you have not completed the research, you don't have any data to show, that's fine. Just imagine you are writing an abstract for a research protocol, which means you're going to write it in the future tense. My research question is this. I am going to enroll so many patients from place XYZ. I'm going to collect data like this. I'm going to run these tests. I'm going to take informed consent. I'm going to do this data analysis using this software ABC, and I expect, as per my hypothesis, that I'm going to get these results. So that's fine. All we want to see is actually your creativity and how do you understand the process of abstract writing. Okay, there's one more question which I'm going to answer and then we will log off. I generated a conceptual framework with Canva as a part of my thesis. How can I acknowledge that? Do I use a watermark or just label beneath it that generated from Canva? So I would recommend that you clearly mention this conceptual framework was created using Canva AI or whatever, ठीक है ना, on this date, because you have to mention the date and the version, because we know that every week or month these tools they upgrade and they go to the next version. So just for clarity and just for transparency, it's important to mention the date on which the tool was used and the version of the tool that you used. So that would be good. So please, Laura has just mentioned that she's going to share a feedback. So please do share your feedback. I'll be grateful. It was a pleasure having you all here. And I really hope that we are going to have the same kind of enthusiasm in our next sessions and my AI, the dark side of AI webinar as well. And please be very active in the discussion section. You have been asking and answering good question answer, but we would like more participation from you. So have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you very much, INS team. Thank you very much, my colleagues from Nepal. Bye.
Also, I would like to add something before we wrap up. So if you don't have question right now, it's fine. As Dr. Farooq said, you can always post your question in the discussion forum. So in the discussion forum, we have been pinning the discussion thread at the top so that you can reply to the same forum, so that when you have a question for the facilitator, you post in that particular thread, so that facilitators can go to the question straight and then answer your question. So I strongly recommend all of you to use that thread, and then there we will answer your question as well. So thank you so much for your participation today, and we look forward for the next session as well. We are planning to have a Q&A session next week, and we'll see you there. Please complete this survey before you leave. Thank you.